Cobb Gang!
What up, chuds? Cobson here, back at it again with a brand new YouTube video. Today we got some huge news to talk about. In case you didn't know, RFK Jr. has just suspended his campaign and endorsed President Trump to be elected this November. This is incredible. Because he was at one point he was like 15, even 20 some percent in some polls, and now he's supporting Trump. So let's talk about the RFK Jr. coalition. So it consisted of some of these, Northeastern liberals who were dissatisfied with the Democratic Party for one reason or another, white working class voters in broadly this part of the country right here, Southern suburbanites who were nostalgic for the Kennedy name and just wanted someone new, and moderate independents who are just tired of the status quo. Now, all of those groups, with the exception of the New England liberals, are going to split in Trump's favor. So this is, and I cannot stress this enough, a huge boost for President Trump. We were shuddering for a sec because the polls were looking good for Kamala, and then she was heading into the DNC, but she hasn't experienced really much of a bump at all. In fact, she's actually slumped a bit following her DNC speech. So yeah, it's incredible how things have just the momentum's just like that, just on a whim. So let's talk about this election and what we're going to be seeing. So first off, we'll do our safe and solid Democrat states. So that's solid Massachusetts, solid Rhode Island. I'm going to say safe Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. These three are going to be decently to the right of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, but I wouldn't call them competitive yet. Same with Delaware. And then we got Vermont. Got Maine second, actually. I think this one, a lot of these voters up here are RFK voters. I think they're going to go to Trump. And then we got Maryland. It's a solid Democrat state, same as D.C. Illinois, safe but not solid. Same with Oregon and Washington, as well as Cali. And Hawaii. So we got 181 right now for the Democrats. And for the Republicans, we got West Virginia, we got Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri. I think Iowa is going to become solid this year. This is a state looking really good for the GOP this year. Four out of Nebraska's 5 electors, Maine second, the Dakotas, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Utah, and Alaska. Actually, I'm going to make Alaska and South Carolina safe, but not solid. Yeah. You know what? Maybe Iowa as well. So now we got our likely states. I think this brings Colorado below 10. I don't think Trump's going to win it because Harris has a lot of hard support in the Denver metro area. But yeah, Colorado is just barely in the battleground. I don't count on it flipping, though. Up next, what's another interesting one? I want to save the Northeast for last. New Mexico, put this one in lean now. A lot of the voters right here who might have voted for RFK Jr. because of some of his economic proposals, trade and all that stuff, they're going to Trump because Kamala, whatever you want to call her, she's a free trade, she's a neoliberal figure, and I think the state is going to, as a result, it's going to shift pretty sharply to the right. Up next is Minnesota. This is another lean Democratic state. I got Kamala winning it by around 2 points. The first flip for my prediction is Wisconsin. I think Trump's going to carry it because just like how Tim Walz has a lot of support in the Driftless area, so does RFK Jr. And since a plurality of RFK Jr. voters are going to split for Trump, I think that's going to flip Wisconsin. Up next is Georgia. This one is likely, and I'm even more optimistic about Georgia. And this is because, The Kennedy name, it's huge in Atlanta and in this kind of area. And if Kennedy's going to support Trump, that's just it makes the state that much better for the GOP. As well, North Carolina. This is another state. I'm now thinking. I used to have Trump plus 5. I'm thinking Trump plus 7 now in the Tar Heel states. It's just this is such a huge boost that RFK Jr. has given to the Trump campaign. And even though the momentum was starting to slip away, now we are so back. And I'm very thankful. This could have just single handedly secured the election for Trump. Maybe I wouldn't go that far yet, but man, that is something. Up next is Arizona. I also got this one as likely are now. A lot of these voters down here, they might have voted for a grifter like Biden who pretended to be moderate. I don't think they're going to vote for Harris. And the reason why I don't think they're going to vote for Harris is because Harris, she's a progressive, especially with Tim Walz, who is also very far to the left. I think Trump barely picks up the state by around 5.5 or so as of right now. Nothing. It's not exactly going to be safe, but it's going to be a decently cushy lead, maybe even enough to pull Kerry Lake over. Next up is Nevada. It's another state where a lot of the libertarian leaning independents who were originally going to vote for RFK, they're now coming up to Trump. And this is a great sign for us in Nevada. Up next, we got Michigan. This is a lean Republican state. I used to have it likely. I'm still very bullish on it, but I don't know if we're gonna get extremely high margins just yet. I know that whatever union voters that were voting for Bobby are probably gonna go to Trump now, so that's gonna help us out a lot in the rule, like the palm of the hand. I'm guessing maybe around Trump plus 3, maybe even Trump plus 4 on a good night. And worst case scenario, Kamala probably flips it by a hair. But yeah, this is a Trump. This is a state that's looking very favorable to Trump. Love to see it. Up next of these 4, let's do Pennsylvania. Yeah, this is not looking good for Harris. Trump's got gains over here, gains up here, gains up here, and the GOP even has an edge in registration in all the counties in the state, and including places like Bucks County and Chester County. Places that are shifted away from the GOP a lot in recent years. Up next is Virginia. This is, I'm gonna say, tilt R. A lot of people are gonna be pissed off that I said that. But it's just the RFK Jr. voter is kind of the undecided Nova suburbanite, right? You think that kind of voter, if they really were not going to vote for Harris, they might just not vote at all. And if they don't vote at all, or even if they vote for Trump, I still think Trump barely carries the state. Red Virginia is so back, bros, but maybe not entirely. We just got to see how it goes because um, yeah, again, just because I have Virginia, Wisconsin as tilt R doesn't mean shit. These are states that could go either way during the election. It's just very narrowly, I got Trump up in both of them. Next is Nebraska second. I got this one as tilt D now. I don't think that Trump's going to be able to win, although it's going to be scarily close. A lot of the suburbanites over here, they liked Bobby Jr., and I think that endorsement would go a long way to flipping the seat for Trump. I just don't know if Trump's going to win it. Up next, we have New Hampshire. This is another tilt D state. I think Kamala just barely wins it because the state's been trending to the left. But still, it's very much in play. And the Bobby Jr., if Bobby Jr. goes out and campaigns for Trump, this state's flipping. But as of right now, I got it tilt Democrat. And Maine, I got tilt Republican. So this is our map right now, 327 to 211. Yeah, it's Trump's got a pretty strong lead right now, but a lot of these states could still shift. We got a couple months left. A lot of things been happening. This has been easily the most hectic campaign in my lifetime. And I was born in 04, so I lived through that one. I lived through 2008. I lived through 2012 where there was a lot of mudslinging. 2016 was nasty, and 2020 was questionable. And now we got this one right here where, we got Donald Trump who was shot. He's just getting more and more support every day. The Democrats are trying their hardest to prevent themselves from being just blown off the map. And they seem to have succeeded in that regard, but it's hard to say if they're really still in it to win it. Like, this is a very strongly in Trump's favor election. But again, it can still go either way. Do not say just because it looks good right here, 327, doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. We got to still realize I could be off in either direction for all I know. Trump flips New Mexico, Minnesota, New Jersey, but not going to happen. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and peace out. I'm just, man, I don't know what to say about this, honestly. It's fascinating just how quickly one guy dropping out and endorsing someone else can upend the dynamics of a race. It's really something. But anyway, y'all have a nice day. See ya.